Hello all, today we will discuss about endemic fever, typhoid fever and paratyphoid fever. Typhoid fever is caused by Salmonella typhi and paratyphoid fever caused by Salmonella paratyphi A and B. Route of transmission, fecal-oral route and urine-oral routes rarely. First, after ingestion of the bacteria invade mucosa of small bowel. It proliferates in the lymphoid tissue of the small intestine and the typical lesions in the Peyer's patches and follicles are formed and later causes bacteremia. Peyer's patches swell at first, then ulcerate and usually heal. After clinical recovery, about 5% of patients become chronic carriers. Bacilli may live in the gallbladder for months or years and pass intermittently in the stool and less commonly in the urine. Clinical features of typhoid fever. Incubation period 10 to 14 days but can be longer. Onset may be insidious. First week, fever. Temperature rises in a stepladder fashion for 4 or 5 days with malaise, increasing headache, drowsiness and aching in the limbs. Headache, myalgia, relative bradycardia, constipation. Constipation is by swelling of lymphoid tissue around the ileocecal junction. Diarrhea and vomiting in children. End of first week. Rose spots on trunk. Rose spots occur on the upper abdomen and on the back as sparse maculopapular rose red spots which fade on pressure. Furred coated tongue, splenomegaly, hepatomegaly, cough, epistaxis, abdominal distension, constipation followed by diarrhea and abdominal distension with tenderness. Diarrhea. These are the rose spots. End of second week, delirium, complications, then if untreated may go into coma and death. Paratyphoid fever, course tends to be shorter and milder. Onset is often more abrupt with acute enteritis. Rash may be more abundant. Intestinal complications are less frequent. Complications of typhoid fever. Bowel, perforation, hemorrhage of ulcerated Peyer's patches. Any system can be affected because of the bacteremia present during the first week. Septic foci can occur, bone and joint infection, meningitis, cholecystitis, myocarditis, nephritis, chronic carriage, persistent gallbladder carriage. Investigations. Leukopenia, neutropenia. Blood culture yield best in the first week. Stool cultures are often first positive in the second and third weeks. Vidal test done in second week detects antibodies to the O and H antigens but is not specific. Rising titers of O shows active infection and rising titers of H shows past immunization or past infection. Typhi.DOT detect IgM and IgG antibodies. So the mnemonic for the test you can remember as BASU. Week 1 blood culture positive, week 2 agglutination test Vidal positive, week 3 stool culture and week 4 urine culture. Types of carriers. Temporary and chronic. Temporary excrete bacilli up to 6 to 8 weeks. Chronic carriers excrete bacilli more than 1 year. Management. Mainly antibiotic therapy. Earlier chloramphenicol, ampicillin, cotrimoxazole were used, but they are losing their effect due to resistance in many areas. Fluoroquinolones are the drug of choice like ciprofloxacin 500 mg twice daily. Extended spectrum cephalosporins, ceftriaxone and cefotaxime can be used as alternatives but have a slightly increased treatment failure rate. Azithromycin 500 mg once daily is an alternative when fluoroquinolone resistance is present but has not been validated in severe disease. Treatment should be continued for 14 days. Pyrexia may persist for up to 5 days after the start of specific therapy. Chronic carriers were formerly treated for 4 weeks with ciprofloxacin but may require an alternative agent and duration as guided by the antimicrobial sensitivity testing. Or else you can use amoxicillin or ampicillin 100 mg per kg per day or plus propanacid 1 gram or trimethoprim sulfamethoxazole for 6 weeks. Cholecystectomy may be necessary. Prevention, improved sanitation and living condition, typhoid vaccines, 2 inactivated injectable and 1 oral live attenuated vaccines are there. Thank you.